Hello, welcome to another episode of Brand Spotlight. And it's where I take a look at an entrepreneur's branding and tell them what's working, tell them what's not working, how they can improve it. I've got the lovely Myra Clarke today with me.
Hi, Sapna.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm
And
good.
Myra, do you want to introduce yourself and tell a little about what you do?
Yeah, sure. So I am a business coach and I specialize in helping organizations and individuals manage change. So I sit in a mainly corporate world, corporate
Mhm.
clients. I do have personal clients as well. Background in HR, been leading change transformation for about 17 years and recently moved into business coaching.
Okay, so you've stepped out of the corporate world and you're now doing it for yourself.
I have actually had the business going for, gosh, about 15, 16 years, but this last bit, very new. I'm about a year, maybe 15 months in.
Cool. And what is it that you're trying to achieve, getting clarity on? What do you want to know?
Where I need some help is trying to work out how I draw the right client in. So I have invested in a website, but it was quite early days when I don't think I clarified some of my thinking. And I know that my sort of ideal client base is people who are professionally looking for help with their organizations. People also want personal coaching. So they might be the sponsor of the change program, or they might be just somebody individually saying, I know you do that business, but I'd actually like some coaching to help me through my own change transformation. So I'm trying to walk a space that's corporate and professional because that's my background and that's what I do, but warm and inviting because coaching is about personal, relationship, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And is the budget coming from HR then, or is the budget coming from their own pockets?
Most of the time it's from the business. So what happens is I'm getting corporates coming in, buying workshops, buying coaching from me, and then some of the employees in that business then say, Myra, could I have some personal coaching? But my primary aim at the moment is that corporate space of getting corporations by personal coaching or business change coaching.
Cool, because it's always clear to get who is this brand targeted
Yes.
at.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, the client is the person who's signing the check primarily.
Yeah.
And then I can see how that works from a personal point of view as well. I'm going to start with your LinkedIn profile because that's how most people will come across you first,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
Or they go to your website. Are you currently getting clients through referrals, through personal connections, or is it more new people that are discovering you?
It's mainly personal connections.
Cool. Right. It's a nice looking brand. I always look at these things with fresh pair of eyes. I don't want to see these things with too much explanation beforehand because most people are not going to have that when they come across
Yeah.
the brand. So it's the first impression. They're nice colours for the sector that you're targeting. You've got the blue, which is quite corporate, and you're wearing a lovely blue there. That's a really nice colour on you. Have you had your colours done?
I know my colours because, when someone just goes, wow. And in fact, it's very unusual me wearing red, but that was partly because I was meeting you.
Oh,
But
bless you.
typically, when I'm with corporate, I actually do wear the colours that I feel good in, but also match with as well.
Okay, so that's you're doing that really well, actually. You know this stuff. I don't think you need me, actually. So we've got the blue, which sits you in the corporate space. Not very much blue on that banner, but it's not a wrong or a right. I'm just observing that the main colour is teal. And that's been quite the popular colour in recent years as well. It hints at modernity and a fresh way of looking at things. It's yes, I'm corporate, but I'm actually a little bit softer. It's not too harsh. It does feel a little bit more feminine, which obviously you're a woman, so that's not a bad thing. But without going down the pink route, it's a bit more gender neutral. It is a
Yeah.
soft take on the blues of the corporate world. I see that a lot in the coaching space. And I see it in a lot of change as well. Orange tends to be the colour of change, but I've seen a lot of teal coming in as well. And again, they're both quite gender neutral colours and they work quite well with the more traditional colours. And
Yeah.
then you've got that cream. So what's really great is you've got a dark, you've got a bright, and you've got a light, which is a good balance. If you're trying to build a brand palette, those are your basics, a dark, a bright, and a light, and you've got them all there. So well done. They're all tonal, and you know your colours. And you're wearing your colours. So tick tick on all of those. What's really interesting is you've just said that you wear your colours when you go into a meeting, which is also really good because it makes that visual link between you and the brand. You all look very pulled together. And that's why I always wear red. Do I get bored of wearing red? Yes, I do sometimes. But you know what? I don't wear red when I'm not working. It's almost like a uniform.
Yeah,
But I get recognized. People spot me in a crowd at events. They see a little dark haired person with a red dress and they kind of go, oh, there's Sapna. And I've even been spotted in rooms where I've not been. And people have said, oh, I was looking for you and I couldn't see a red dress, so I knew you weren't there. So there's this
yeah,
visual link,
yeah.
which is that's
Definitely.
the point of branding.
Mm.
So you're doing that already, which is brilliant. Let's take a look at the wibbly. I suppose it's navigating the twists and turns of change, isn't it? Maybe that's the symbolism that's going on there.
Yeah, and definitely I've had people say they like the curves in there. It's like change is non-linear, and
Yeah,
it almost says some of that. And it just softens the look as well, was when I was
exactly.
looking at it.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's really nice as well. It puts me in mind of the. Have you seen the Mind logo for the mental health organization? Have you seen that?
I can't remember it, but I'll take a look.
Okay, it's like it's like a jumbled up ball, almost like a ball of wool of like scribbles, and then out of that comes the word mind.
Oh yes, I do know it. Yeah, now you've said. Yeah.
And it's like this sort of jumble of you're not
Yeah.
go, and then but yours feels more like a smooth path, but like a not a linear path,
Yes.
which again is a nice way of representing what you do. You've done really well there so far. Let's have a look at another. Let's have a look at another. We'll look at your website because I know you were keen to get some feedback on there too. So again, you've carried on the theme, which is brilliant. You'll be amazed the amount of people who don't have matching collar and cuffs when it comes to their website and their LinkedIn profile, where it just doesn't carry over. And you have done that. So brilliant. When people are scrolling, do you know how much social media we scroll through or how much we scroll?
I
I
hate
think
to think.
the height of Mount Everest every 20 days.
Oh my gosh.
People train for weeks and months to go up Mount Everest. Our thumb's doing that every 20 days. So it's really important that consistency, which you've got
Mhm.
here, when people land there and land there. One thing I would say that that is different about your two platforms there is you haven't got your logo on there, but you have on there. And
Mhm.
that's, I'm not saying there's a bad thing because
Yes.
you don't need your name. You've got your name there and it's searchable. That Myra
Yeah.
Clarke is searchable. So if you go here, I'd say probably the logo is the weakest part of your identity at the moment.
Mm.
It feels a bit generic. The rest of it looks fresh and dynamic. I don't think your logo looks fresh.
Yeah, I also struggle with it because as soon as you put it onto a white, so I was doing a bid the other day, and then it just the words just disappear and it just wasn't working. So I would agree with you about the logo. The
Yeah.
reason for the flower was because of the lotus flower being transformation. That was the
Mm.
reason for the choice of it. But
I
yeah,
don't think the lotus flower is relevant to the rest of the identity that you've built. I love the idea of change being a non-linear path, and I think
mm,
there's something there which is much cleverer, and there's something there conceptual which is much cleverer. And
yeah,
I think that the lotus flower is quite a cliche.
mm,
It's quite a cliche in a lot of logos, by the way. You'll see it for yoga teachers, well-being companies, less so change management. So you might say, oh, it's different because we're not doing it in that space. But I think it comes across that maybe you're a yoga teacher with the logo. That
I'm not that flexible.
we can all wish, but it doesn't feel aligned with everything
Yeah,
else that you've talked to me about.
yeah, that's really useful.
And for the people that you're talking to me about as well, I
Yeah.
think that bit actually is the weakest link.
Okay.
And this doesn't feel on brand either. Everything else is smooth and flowy and curvy. And then you've got this thing that looks like it's been cut out by a 5-year-old. I'm not quite, it doesn't match. So there's just
Yeah,
little things like that.
yeah,
Um, the use of a script font to break up the copy is actually quite a nice idea, uh,
yeah.
because it ties in with these lines. It's actually not a bad choice of typeface either. It's very legible, it's very clear. I mention this because you'd be surprised at the amount of people that don't have a legible, they use a script font and then it's not very easy to read.
Mm.
Actually, that's another big tick for you. You're doing lots of things right. This is a nice font.
One of the things I've struggled with is then having that go to my laptop. So it looks lovely here, but I haven't been able to replicate it because these beautiful fonts just aren't on my laptop. So I don't think that's my techno. Is
No,
that an easy thing to fix? But
so
what I'm therefore having is I don't have the same look and feel in my website as I do my PowerPoints.
no, this is a problem that I have with every single client, every single brand identity. It's a pain for every designer
Okay.
because what you will have is I design in Adobe Illustrator. The professional design tool is Adobe Illustrator for designing logos, but Adobe fonts don't speak to Google fonts. Google fonts don't speak to Canva fonts, and Canva fonts don't speak to Microsoft Office fonts, and none of them speak to each other. So it's very rare that you get a typeface that will translate across all those platforms.
Right.
Very rare. But if you do use those fonts, you risk the chance of your brand identity looking quite generic
Mm.
because actually on Microsoft Office, you've got a total usable amount of fonts, probably about 8 fonts, and the rest are really ugly, Comic Sans, really disgusting fonts. So this gives you a personality. It gives the brand a personality, which is great, but it's not easily replicable in PowerPoint. So
Yeah.
what you can do is either buy the font and upload it to your system, so then you can use it. You can upload it into onto your system, so you can use it in PowerPoint, Microsoft Office, etc. But then you have to PDF everything when you send it out because people who don't have that font on their system
Yes.
will
Yeah.
end up having it in a weird font and it will look strange. So there's a workaround, but it's a really clunky workaround for Microsoft
Mm.
Office. For Canva, you can do the same. You can buy the font, you can upload it into Canva Pro and use it for your social media posts. And that's okay because you're downloading it as a JPEG or a PDF.
Yeah.
You can do that there. And of course, when you're working with a brand designer or a consultant like myself or a web developer, you just make sure that they've got it in Google Fonts, they've got it in, or you buy the font and then they upload it and we upload.
Yeah.
So it's annoying, but if you want that individuality, I'm afraid you generally have to pay for it because you have to buy the font.
Sure.
Otherwise, they're just the system fonts. It's very long-winded, but that's why
No, it's really useful. Thank you.
when I work with clients, I actually look for fonts that are similar enough. I would say somebody would have to be a psychopath for them to actually look at your PowerPoint presentation, go and look at your LinkedIn, and then look at your website and go, oh, there's a slight difference there on the S. So as long
Yeah.
as it has the feel,
Yes.
it's not a very purist way of looking at it, but it's a practical and pragmatic way of looking at it. I will try and match up the font so that you get something as similar. It is harder with script fonts because they're more distinctive.
Yeah.
But that's something that if we were to work together, Myra, then I could look at that and make sure that you've got a font that works across everything. Where I think it doesn't work so well, let's taking it back to your logo, is I just think for your target market, and I just think this, as I say, is the weakest link. But it is a nice font and it works quite nicely here if you want to continue using it. It breaks up the copy, which is quite nice.
Yes. Yeah.
I think the photography of you is lovely, by the way. I think that there are a lot of photos of just you.
Yeah. That's the feedback I've had. It's got to
And
be more client based.
I think it's brilliant that you are front and center of your homepage. The amount of clients I have to say that to, I was like scrolling down the front page and where's you? I want to see, I want to be greeted by you when I
Mm.
land on the website, and that's where you are. One slight improvement I would make to that photo is have you got anywhere you're actually looking directly at the camera? Because at the moment you're not welcoming me in. I don't feel that you're engaging with me. So eyes to eyes, we as human beings, we look for eyes and making eye contact. But
Can I ask a quick question on this? One of the things that I have been challenged with is my corporate client is potentially looking for a more business person look, but they're buying from humans
yeah,
who are engaging and warm. So one of the things I got told about this photo, and I take your point about straight on, but something about the style of this is like a lifestyle, is that people buy from people.
yeah.
So what's your take on the corporate look versus the sort of lifestyle look?
So I think the corporate look is a little bit dated now because people are a lot more relaxed, certainly since COVID. And
Yeah.
even office wear is a lot softer and not as tailored and not as structured. I think what you're wearing is actually spot on for somebody who is a coach who is, I'm listening, I think it would be wrong and weird if you were in a suit, as an extreme opposite of that. I think what you're wearing is great. It is simple. There's not too much print to distract the eye. The focus is on your face, actually. It's perfect from that point of view. What I would say is that the setting is probably not right. So if you were in that exact same outfit with that exact same notebook and pen, poised to work, looking at the camera, but
Yeah.
sat in a nice indoor setting, like where you might have a meeting.
Yes. So some of
That,
the other shots actually. Have a
but
look
where
at
you have
those.
it, this, it's outdoors, but it's actually quite a scruffy outdoors. It's not particularly picturesque outdoors. It just happens to be some steps. It doesn't look particularly manicured, but also when you're doing your work, you tend to be indoors. Use these photos to tell a story. I very much doubt you'd be having a meeting in that situation.
Yeah.
So there's something about that doesn't ring true because you're very unlikely to be having your notebook and pen out whilst you're sat on these steps. So that's probably one thing that I've changed is the setting.
Mhm.
So it's more aspirational.
Yes.
So this is another way that you can bring your brand colours in
Yeah.
as well. If you had a nice cream sofa there with like maybe some turquoise cushions, you don't have to overthink it. You're wearing your brand colours anyway. That's just another way that people can bring that colour through. What I would suggest is some of you in action, like this is a setting is fine. It's not
Yeah.
very picturesque. Again, a nice sofa, something that looks a bit cozier and relaxing. But if you were sitting there having a conversation with someone, and so have a friend who is like the back of their head,
Yes.
also
Yeah.
in tonal colours. So make sure that everybody, so she's not or he's not wearing a colour that's going to clash with your branding,
Yes.
and at least get them to wear neutrals if they don't have the same colours and you should have your brand colours on, then you're in conversation. It feels more natural and it shows
Yes.
you're working with people. The other
Yeah.
thing that you could do if you do group coaching as well
Yeah. Yeah.
is maybe hire a photographer next
Yeah.
time you've got one of those gigs. Ask if it's okay for the
Yeah.
photographer to come in, obviously, and just take a few shots. And then you can use those on your website as well with you delivering a workshop. So people want to see how you work as well
Yeah.
as like who you are. So
Yeah.
just
That's a
in a
very good
way
idea.
that brings it to life a little bit more.
Yeah. And it's been really useful.
Um,
Thank you.
and the third thing that you want me to look at is your Canva.
Literally, this was me this morning where I didn't have any of my logo, any of my look and feel in my templates. I didn't even know what I was doing. So I did a YouTube video about how to move my brand into Canva. So I'm literally, that's all I know. So what I did was I was trying to create a LinkedIn carousel and I'd just taken a Canva Pro template and then I was starting to wash through my colors that I'd taken from my logo to
Yeah.
do that. So that's as far as I got. So one of the things I'm wrestling with at the moment is not being an expert on this stuff. It's like, how much do I do myself using Canva, but spending hours
How
fiddling
many,
around? That's just generally been a theme for me the last few weeks. For instance, I've got a PowerPoint presentation that I created. I started it in Canva. And because I'm not completely confident with Canva, I then put it into PowerPoint and did my thing in PowerPoint. You're going to laugh, aren't you? But this is my world. This is my pain at the
no,
moment.
no, it's not your world, it's everybody's world,
It's
right?
a real
Apart from us.
frustration. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it
So,
is.
I had the joy of working at Unilever and Xerox, where I had these beautiful departments where I go, I just need this
Do that
thing.
for you.
And I'm expecting the polish without the skill set. And Canva does help you get some of the way there, but not, it's the time. Sorry, that was my personal pain just suddenly
No,
coming through there.
that
So
is pain. It is
that it
actually
is. So it's what I'd like to be able to do is to have some carousels that have my brand, that are me, that are easy to use, that I can just go. I've got a template and go. And this was the beginning of that this morning that says, let me create a carousel look and feel. And
right.
that is as far as I've got.
Okay. So this is what I do with clients actually as well, is once we've created the brand, is we then transfer it into beautiful Canva templates that have got their brand that they can just plug and play then. But
That's what I need.
But what I can say for now, and you've explained why it doesn't look that way, but if we go back to your beautifully designed front page of your website, think about where people are going to be landing and the LinkedIn as well, which do have a visual link between them. This doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the beautiful curves.
Don't even know how to get them in, Sapna.
No, you wouldn't. You're
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
meant to. I'm not even sure that that's the same turquoise. It's not.
Oh, I was feeling so brave and Obviously I didn't use the right colour. I thought I'd use the, what's it called, a Pantone, and put the code in. So
Here you go. Here's a little, just do that and then pick it up. Can you see that? I just use the eyedropper tool
ah,
and you just hover over that colour
yeah.
and then use that colour instead. So I've
Ah,
actually changed that colour now. Can you see the difference?
yes, I can.
Actually, your Myra Clarke is
Yeah.
sitting on this colour, which is obviously the wrong colour. And you don't have that in a PNG with a clear background. I'm taking it.
No, exactly. And you've just, I spent hours on this stuff, and you've just gone boom.
Look at that. Put that now. Can you see that that's clear now?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what I use the background remover. So you've got rid of that, and now that goes everywhere. Now, the other thing that you've not done here is this font.
Oh
Where?
no, I was halfway through when I came to your call. So I've
Ah,
literally just
right.
ripped the
Okay.
template, and that this was just me in mid flow before I came to this call.
So obviously you need to be having the same fonts. This
Yeah.
feels very shouty.
Yeah, yeah. No way I'd
You
use
can
that.
put
Yeah.
beautiful curves. You haven't
Yes.
made.
How do I create the curves? That's where,
That's where the magic is. That's what.
yes, exactly.
But yeah, that's something that I could definitely help you do. There are some curves in here that you could use and recolor if that's what you wanted to do. But it's quite an involved thing and it would take longer
Yeah,
than right now.
yeah,
You can go in there and find curves. So if you go into elements there and you go curves, there'll be stuff there and then you can put that in there and then color it with,
yeah.
which I don't know what your other brand colors are right now because we haven't imported them. But that's the way that you do it is you have
Got
to
you.
build it. Or
Mhm.
again, when clients work with me, we provide those assets for them
Yes.
and then they just upload them. So we
Yeah.
provide them PNGs and then you've got your bespoke brand rather than trying to make a Canva graphic fit your brand, we
Yes.
create the assets and then you can just upload
It
them.
sounds like that will save a whole world of pain.
So I'm going to stop sharing now and just ask if you got any questions or was there anything that you want to find out more about?
It was so interesting, and it also affirmed some of the things I've been doing. So what I've been doing is just testing my website with a couple of people, and they've said about some of the things you've picked up, they've picked up on. They like the squiggly lines because they say it creates that sort of like change is sometimes confusing, but it's soft. They like the soft look. They think there's too many pictures of me, so that absolutely says there. And I think I had an itch with the logo that I hadn't quite felt, and you've affirmed that. Yeah, that was a really useful exercise. And also it's made me think about, when do I buy in expertise and when do I play around myself? And I'm trying to set up the business, and this isn't really where I want to be spending a lot of time. I want to make sure it's right and it's professional and people look and want to buy me, but I don't want to be spending my time necessarily here.
Yeah, and that's the thing when we talked about this earlier, when you're coming from corporate, you have people to do those things for you. And then
Yes.
when you start your business, you try and do it all yourself. But
Yeah.
actually, sometimes it's like you need to get to the point where you can hire someone else to do that for you, take it off your plate, and you can
Yeah.
be being as fabulous as you want to be for your clients.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
been really useful. Thank you.
no worries. Bye bye for now, and I'll see you soon.